Hi guys, this is Jatin from Testing Gyan. So in our last video, we have discussed various locator techniques to identify the web element on web page. But do you know which is the most widely used locator technique? Yes, that is XPath. So in this video, we are going to see each and everything about XPath. So let's discuss.
So guys, till now we have discussed about name, we have discussed about ID, we have discussed about partial link text, we have discussed about class name, we have discussed about tag name, we have discussed about link text. Now we are going to discuss about most widely used locator technique, that is XPath, via XPath. So let me show you some interesting things about XPath first. So guys, let's understand what is XPath. So XPath in Selenium is an XML path used for navigation through the HTML structure of the page. It is a syntax or a language for finding any element on the web page using XML path expression. So XPath can be used for both HTML as well as for XML documents to find the location of any element on the web page using HTML DOM structure. So let's see what is the syntax of XPath. So here is the syntax of relative XPath. If I explain you this, forward slashes is for your current node. This tag name, we'll see that what tag name is, what this attribute is, what this value is. Then we'll write @ and then attribute and then value of that particular attribute. So after discussing this theory part, we'll discuss in actual DOM structure. We'll see that what this tag name is, what this attribute is, and what this value is. So let's discuss about how many types of XPaths are there. So there are two types of XPath. One is your absolute XPath, and another one is your relative XPath. So absolute XPath, it is a direct way to find the element, but the disadvantage of the absolute XPath is that if there is any change in path, then your XPath locator will be failed. So you can see over here, I have given an example of absolute XPath. So it starts from the starting very first node, that is HTML, and then goes till the element which we want to find. Let's see what is relative XPath. So relative XPath starts from the middle of HTML DOM structure. It starts with // that is this one. It can search element anywhere on web page, means there is no need to write this much long path which we are actually writing in absolute XPath. And you can start from the middle of the HTML DOM structure. Relative XPath is always preferred as it is not a complete path of the from the root element. So here is the example of relative XPath. So here you can see this div is the tag name, class is attribute, and this class name is value. So let me go back to Eclipse and we'll see the example of XPath. So here I am in Eclipse. So let me change this URL to Yahoo. So we'll discuss all these things about XPath in Yahoo website. Yep. So here we are. Let me delete all this. So let me run this now. If I run it, so as you can see over here, we have successfully launched the website. Let me go to DOM structure of this. So if I want to find this search bar, here is all the properties written over here. So there is one trick. If you want to copy the absolute XPath, what you will do, you will just right click on the particular line which is highlighting the element and go to this copy and copy full XPath. And to verify whether your XPath is correct or no, how you can verify it? You can verify it by just pressing Ctrl F over here and paste your XPath over here. So as you can see that I have copied the absolute XPath and it is pointing to the correct element. So as we discussed, that problem with absolute XPath is if anything changed in between, let's say tomorrow Yahoo people have decided to to add one button over here, then there will be one more div, let's say over here, then my complete XPath is wrong. My scripts will stop working. That is the reason this absolute XPath is not in fashion, and people generally prefer relative XPaths over absolute XPaths. So now let's see how we can write relative XPath. So as we have already discussed about the syntax of relative XPath, it starts with // and then the name of tag, which is input in this case. So the starting thing will be your tag name. So I'll write input, and then let me again. You have to choose any attribute. Just put add. Let's say in this case I am choosing this class as my attribute. So I'll copy this. Let's take ID. I am not sure whether class will be unique or not. Let's take ID. So @ID equals to, and then you have to put the value, and you can see over here that it is pointing to this particular, it is highlighting this particular element, which is the correct one. So let me use this XPath and we'll see whether it is working or not. Driver dot find element by dot XPath dot send keys. Hello. Let me close this. Let me run this now. So it has launched the website. Let's wait for web page to complete the loading, and then we'll see that it will enter hello over here. So as you can see, it has typed hello over here. So I hope that you have got the basic idea about how to write XPath. We'll explore more. We'll explore about XPath XAs. We'll explore about XPath functions. All these things we'll cover in this video. But I hope that you get a generic idea that how you can write the XPath. So let's see. Let's say if I don't want to use ID, what all other things I can use. Let's see. So you can see there are multiple attributes present over here. Let's say if I don't want to use ID, I can use name. I can use this type as well. I can use area expanded. I can use this placeholder, autofocus, data rapid. I can use this data -v9y. I can use this role. I can use this area autocomplete. So let's check how you can use it. For now, let's take an example of type. If I use type, so I'll write input @type equal to text. So as you can see, it is highlighting the correct element, but it is finding two elements corresponding to same XPath, stating that there are two elements in which type is equals to text. So guys, I hope that this is clear now. But even if I use this XPath in my script, it will work correctly, because if there are multiple elements corresponding to same XPath, then your script will act on the first finded element. So whatever the first finded element, your script will act on that. Let's see if I use name instead of type. Name is P. As you can see, now it is uniquely recognizing the XPath. So guys, we have understood about XPath in general. We have understood what XPath is. So let's see what all extended functions or XPath XAs are available to make our life more easier. So let's see about functions first. So let's say there is web element in which id is this. So the id is this long. There are so many characters in id, and this part is fixed, and the rest one is dynamic, or you can consider any part as fixed. So in that case, if I give this as my XPath over here, it will not work, obviously, because this part is fixed but this part is changing. So every time my website will be launched, there will be something else written over here, and the value of id will not be this. Hence, in that cases, my XPath will fail and my Selenium script will not be able to recognize the element. So in that case, what will come into picture? In that case, contains will come into picture. So let me write couple of XPath functions over here so that you can, relate to whatever I am saying. So here are the couple of functions which I have written over here. So let's discuss about the contains function first. Let's go to, say, Yahoo website. So here you can see, if I inspect this, my ID is YBAR-SPQ. Let's assume that this YBAR part is fixed and SPQ part changes every time we launch the website. So in that case, what we will do, in that case, we will write XPath in such a fashion that we'll include only this YBAR as part of our XPath and not this SPQ. So it starts with // and then tag name, that is input, and then I'll use contains over here. @ID, and in the case of contains it will be comma and not is equals to. So let me delete this SPQ for now. Okay, so as you can see, if I deleted this SPQ, now there are 3 elements corresponding to same ID which has YBAR in it. Let's see what all those 3 elements are. So this search button also has YBAR in ID in it, and this bell icon also has YBAR in it. So now in our case, if I want to perform action on this search box, then this XPath can be used, because as I have already told you that whatever XPath you have written over here, if there are more than one element finding to or corresponding to same XPath, then your script will act on the first element. Let's try to find out some other element which will have only one unique locator. So let me try for this. Let me see this class name, YBFumpa underscore YB underscore Fupma class. If I delete this underscore YB, so here you can see for this class name there is only one unique locator. So let's use this one. So now in this case I'll use the locator which I have just written. Let me run this. Okay. Okay, I haven't closed the previous browser. So it will load and it will write hello over here. Either my internet speed is slow or this Yahoo website take forever to launch. as you can see, it has written hello over here, stating our XPath is correct. So guys, I hope this contains is clear now. Next is you can use or and is and in your XPath. So let's say I am not sure whether every time this name of this particular thing will be P or not, but I am sure that if name is P, but I am sure any one of this will be true, either ID or either name, any one of them will be true. So in such cases you can use or in your XPath. So how you can use or, here is the syntax. It will start with / and then your tag name and then your attribute and then of the value. So let's see, and either or and whatever you want to use as part of your XPath. So if I'll use or, it will consider any one of them. If any one of them is true, it will return the element. If I use and, it will see if both the elements are true, then only it will return the element. If both the attributes and value are true, then only it will return the element. So let's see the example of or. Input @ID is equals to this, or @name is equals to P. So it is finding the correct element. Even if I change this name from P to B, then also it is finding the correct element, because I have written or in between. So if instead of or, if I write and over here, then it is not finding, because for and it should assume that both of the values are true. So let me write or, and let's run the script with the XPath which we have written over here. So as you can see, it has written hello correctly, which is expected. So I hope guys now contains is clear, or and is clear. Now let's see what the starts with is. So starts with is similar to contains, just that contains will consider your whole string. It can be anywhere, even in starting, even in middle or in end, but the starts with will look at the string with which it starts. So in this case, if I use the starts with, I can only use YBAR and I cannot use SBQ, or I cannot use BAR hyphen or SB and other things. I cannot use, I can only use starting from Y till whatever place I want to use. But it should start from Y, then only it will find the correct element. So similar to starts with, there is one more function that is ends with. So as name suggests, it works on similar principle. Instead of starting, I can use only the end characters. So SBQ or BQ, so these kind of things I can use. I am not writing the complete XPath and running it, because I want you guys to try it out. Just try it out and let me know in comments whether it works or it doesn't work. Now let's see about this text function, that what this text function will do. So let's say I want to click on the sign in. So for this, let us write the XPath using text function. So here, if you see, the text which is being used in this is sign in. So let's see, the only difference between text and all the other attributes is that all the other attributes you use with the help of @, but in text, as text is function, you will not use @, you will use text and then parenthesis, because in function we use parenthesis, sign space in. So as you can see, it has finded the element, but it has finded two elements corresponding to sign in. You can see the first one over here, that is our button which we are looking for, and second one is over here, that element is hidden, but if you see in DOM, it is sign in. So if I don't want to use complete text, I can use contains for text function as well. The only change will be, instead of e is equal to, I'll use comma, and I can remove this in. Yep. So guys, I hope till this is clear. So guys, we have discussed everything about XPath functions. We have discussed about contains, we have discussed about starts with, we have discussed about text, we have discussed about or and. So now we are going to discuss about XPath access. So I have written all the definitions for you about all the XPath access. So let's see what those definitions are, and then we'll see the actual implementation of XPath access. So guys, here are all the access of XPath. So let's see one by one what everything means in here. So first one is this following. So what following will do, it will select all the node that will come after the current node. Syntax for this is this one. You will write your generic XPath and then double slash this following and then double colon and the tag name. Next one is ancestor. So what this ancestor will do, the ancestor access selects all the ancestor element, be it parent, grandparent or grandparent of the current node. So syntax is written over here, you can see that. Next one is child. So what child will do, child will select all the children element of the current node. So syntax for this is this one. Don't worry, we'll see the real implementation of all these real examples. Next one is preceding. So what preceding will do, it will select all the node that come after the current node. Syntax for preceding is this. Next one is following sibling, and there can be preceding sibling as well. So what it will do, it will select the following siblings of the context node. Like if this will be considered as your context node, siblings are at the same level of the current node. So this is the syntax for following sibling. Next one is parent. So it selects the parent of the current node. So this is the syntax for parent access. And last one is descendant. So it selects descendant of the current node, and this is the syntax of this. So let's see one by one what it is. Let me launch the browser. Let's run the script. So browser is launched. Let me go back in here. So let's say I am finding this username thing. So if I write XPath, as you already know, I'll write input, that is tag name, @name is equals to username. Now let's see one by one what all these access means. So if I say following, if I write following over here, and what following should be, let's say TD. So it is, as you can see, it is referring to all the TDs which is after this current node. So there are almost 12 TDs in here. So guys, I hope this following is clear. Let me delete it for now, and let's go back in here. Let's see ancestor about now. So what ancestors will do, ancestor will highlight all the elements, be it parent, grandparent of which are there above. So ancestor basically means above, and descendant basically mean below. So let me write ancestor and let's say TD. So you can see that it started from very beginning. So these all are ancestor of this. Let's move to other one, that is child. Now for child, I don't think it has any child. So for child, let me go back. Let me write some other XPath. So let's write XPath for this table. Let me see. So here we can use this PG color for that. @PG color. So table. Sorry. Table @PG COLOR. Yep. So now let's see for child. So for child, and let's say I want to go to TD. So as you can see, this TD is child of this table, hence it is highlighting this. I can go to some other child as well. T body is also its child, so I can type T body over here also. So I hope guys child is also clear now. Let's move to other. So let's see about preceding now. So let me copy this preceding. And let's say this TD. So as you can see above that table, so you can relate it actually guys. So if I remove this, so this and now the preceding will be the one which are above this current node. This is your current node, so preceding will be the one which are above the current node. So these kind of TDs will be there. Let's go to following sibling now. Following sibling means just immediate sibling. Let's say siblings are the ones who are in, you know, at the same level. So for that I have to go to this TR. So let's go to TR, T body, and then TR. So now I can write following sibling. Oops. And now here I can write TR. So here you can see it highlighted the following sibling. So what I want you to know is that siblings are the one which are so at the same level. It should be at the same level. And similarly, if I want to go to the previous, or if I want to use preceding sibling, then I can use preceding sibling as well. So now it is pointing to the sibling which is above that sibling. So guys, I hope this preceding sibling and following sibling is clear. Let's see about parent now. So parent will be your immediate parent node. So let's say in this case, if I remove till now, so as you can see it is pointing till here, and if I write parent and T body, as you can see it pointed just above the parent. So guys, I hope this parent is also clear now. Let's see the other. And last one is this descendant. So just like ancestor will give you the node which are above the current node, this descendant will give you the nodes which are below the current node. So let me use it. And if I say TD, so it is giving me the nodes which are below the current node. So if you see, I'm at the here, I have written XPath till here, and after that I have written this descendant. So it is giving me all the nodes which is below the current node. So guys, I hope this XPath access is also clear. So one thing I want you to do is you have to try all the XPath function as well as all the XPath access. There are some tricks also which we can use, so I'll tell you those tricks. So if you are not sure about this tag name, you can regularize it with the help of regular expression. So you can use star. Star means anything. it can be div a td, whatever the tag name is, it will automatically take. And let's say if you want to go to immediate parent node, then what you can do is, so let's say it is pointing to this, and if I want to go to this td, then I can put a forward slash and double dot, so it points immediately to the node which is just above that node. And if I even want to go above that, then I can again put a single forward slash and double dot. So these are little tricks which you can use. So that's all guys about XPath. I know now you can write your own XPath, and if you still have any doubt, you can mention in the comment section of this video. Thank you.